chosen generation. We've been called.
You're welcome again on this show, Things Affair on Sulo TV. My name is Oluwakemi Thomas. Today on Things Matter segment, we shall be talking about a topic, parent-teen relationship. And I have with me on the show today a father who is a lover of teenagers, Mr. Jude Tijani. Mr. Jude, you are welcome on the show.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having me here.
Why do you think it's that so difficult for teenagers to relate with their parents, and parents so difficult to relate well with their teenagers?
But one of the factors, I think one prominent one, is the fact that the teenage child who is just getting to her teenage years, or who has reached his or her teenage years, feels is an adult of some sort and should be treated as one, while the parent who feels that child is still his own or her own child, and probably still thinks he's within the range of, still think he's my child, and then treating him like he's still an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old child. And maybe for the child is feeling, I think I should be able to take my own decisions. I should have some level of freedom in the house, and I think I should I shouldn't be allowing my mother to give me a peg right in the presence of my peers or my friends. And the mother is thinking, oh, I love my son so much, or I love my daughter so much, and I want to give him a hug when I want to leave him. Maybe I drive him to school, and I'm about to leave him in school, and then I want to hug him to now make him feel loved. And then the child was like, come on, mom, cut it off, cut it out. This is not it. All those things, that difference in opinion is actually one of the cause of the friction between a parent and their teenage children.
Okay, parents usually at times feel that their teenagers are so proud and arrogant, and they behave like adults while they are still children. What do you think about that?
It is normal for a teenager to crave for some level of freedom or some form of mature treatment, as they say. I'm not 8 anymore. You understand? Now, it is normal for them because at that point, they are beginning to be more aware of their surrounding. They are more aware of what their peers are doing. They are mostly more concerned about what their friends think of them at that point. So they don't want to do anything to jeopardize that. And as a result, they get into quarrel with their parents when their parent is trying to treat them otherwise. And so it's a kind of a problem that I think.
We shall be going on a break right now. We'll be right back.
The next day when I arrived, Anthony Jr. said that he was going out against Mum's wishes.
Anthony, it's the reason why you don't need to go outside today. Excuse me.
Excuse me? What's that?
What?
What's he doing?
He was just saying move, and I'm saying,
really?
Say excuse me.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Anthony? Anthony, here, please. So, are you going to do nothing? You're going to let your son talk to you like that?
That's how you always talk to me.
Oh, and that's all right, is it?
No, it ain't all right.
Get here right now, please. Right now. Anthony Jr. is 12 years old and by no means a big man. So it's important that we establish limits, authority, and nip this attitude straight in the bud before it gets worse. Is that okay for him to talk to you like that?
No, it's not. I don't like when he talks to me like
that. Then
that.
you tell him, okay? Because as long as he talks to you like that with that attitude and walks out the door, then you're gonna have a problem today and tomorrow. Do not tolerate that attitude. All right? You do something about it and you tell him.
Normally I would, but it'll eventually get physical.
Oh, no. You need to deal with it now. No, to ignore it.
Okay.
To ignore it means that you're not then going to address it, and I'm here to help you.
Okay.
Okay, work through that, all right? Normally, Alice would just hit Anthony Jr. when his behaviour became out of hand, but this was a great opportunity for me to show Alice exactly how to take a different approach.
Anthony, you need to go to your room. 10 minutes. You need to think about that. Just the way you talking to me. In order for us to change this, Anthony, all the things that we don't like, the hitting, the swearing, I wanted to stop, but you definitely have to work with me too. I'm glad Joe showed me another way of dealing with little Anthony. I would have spanked him, but I'm definitely sticking with the things that Joe showed us. You have 10 minutes to go upstairs to your room and think about it, and then you can come back downstairs and apologize to me.
I was impressed with mum's restraint and how she dealt with the situation. However, Anthony Jr., I still need to...
Okay, welcome back to the show. Now, take for instance, I have a teenager that actually used to come to me and like, I want to tell you something. This a man is actually talking to me, is getting me a clothes, this and that. Say, please don't tell my mom. You know, why do you think it's so that difficult for teenagers to open up to their parents? They can actually open up to somebody else, but to talk to their parents is kind of so hard. What do you think about it?
I think it has to do with the environment where we grow up. I think when I mean environment, I'm talking about the culture of the environment that we are in. Like for instance, in Africa here, we see parents as a form of God, so to say. As in, we place them very high, and so children feel there are some things that they cannot discuss with their parents. In fact, some parents feel that there are some things they cannot be discussing with their children, and this should not be so. Because when children are growing up, they need enough information about their environment. And if you don't provide that information for them, they will get it out there. But if, unfortunately, they fall into the wrong hands, for example, if it's a girl who wants answers to questions that are bothering her, and the question has to do with sex, and the girl cannot confront the mother to get a good answer for that question, the girl might turn to a young man outside there or an older man outside there to get the information, and as a result of giving the information, the man can use that as an opportunity to molest the child in the course of...
I think one of those things that also cause such a thing is that the way the parents actually react to things. The times that when a child come to open up to them, they like, oh, you're following guys, this, that, and they shout at them. So once they see things like that, they decide to just keep it to themselves without telling the parents. I think that is something that the parents should take note of.
Thank you very much. I think that point is very important, because there are some parents, they are too harsh when dealing with their children. They don't allow their children to talk. They don't even give them room to even explain anything, because they feel they are just children, so there is nothing they can talk to them about. And as a result, once the child tries once or twice to talk to the father or the mother and they don't give him or her audience, they turn to an outsider who is willing, who is attentive enough. So I think parents should be more attentive to their children. It's very important.
Yes, thank you so much. Then how can teenagers that are not living with their parents, how can they have good rapport with those people that they're actually staying with those their guardians? How can they have good rapport?
I think it has a lot to do with the guardian that we are talking about, the guardians in question. If, for instance, there is a child who probably has lost both parents and he's living with an uncle who is married, and if the uncle and the wife are not treating the child well as their own biological children, I think the child will feel the absence of the parent in our life, and as a result will withdraw into his or her shell, and as a result that can cause a lot of chaos, because most of those children, they find solace outside in the hands of men outside, and as a result, that is if it's a girl, and sometimes if it's a guy, they find solace in relating with their friend, their peers, and as they are relating with their peers, they introduce them to a lot of bad habits outside there.
We shall be going on a break right now. We will be right back. Thank you.
Welcome to Swilot Concept Media. Contact us for video editing, musical videos, subtitling, video coverage, video advert, and directing. You can call us on 080-5121-4252 or 08136769492. Swilot Concept Media, creating a beautiful world.
What is archaeology? So imagine an archaeologist. What are they doing? Are they an adventurer digging for treasure? We do dig to find artifacts from the past, but that's not where our job finishes. We use them as clues to find out about people in the past. It can be tricky. The artifacts don't tell us their story. Instead, we have to piece it together ourselves. How does archaeology work? As they peek out the ground, we start to ask questions. What have we found? What's it made from? Why is it that shape? Is it complete? Let's explore the artifacts to find the answers. It's hard, brown beige, almost like a tree, but the shape isn't right. And what are these holes? They're our clue. It's a huge animal bone. This bone is a vertebrae, part of the spine. It's much bigger than most animals, but it's so light. It must be from a sea creature. Its size and weight tells us it's a killer whale. Why have we found killer whale bones in London? They're like open water, like the Atlantic. Where it was found might tell us more. This bone was one of many found along the Thames in the city. It's from the medieval period, a time when boats would dock here, full of goods to sell. Did this bone come to London with a fisherman as something curious to sell or show off in London's markets? Or perhaps the killer whale found its own way up the Thames and got stuck? What do you think? Do you think that killer whale got lost? Or that someone in the past brought it to London? We'll probably never know the real answer, but it's exciting to imagine what could have happened and to ask so many questions of our city's past. This is just one of the millions of artefacts we have from London. What will you discover when you visit us? And what questions will you ask?
If a teenager does not have Christ, it will be very, very difficult for them not to be molested. So there is need for them to have that fear of Christ. It is important. I want to advise teenagers out there. There is need for you to speak out. Just as I used to say, there is need for you to speak out. No matter what is happening to you, no matter the pressure on you, even if you cannot speak up to your parents, look for a guidance, look for a mentor, look for somebody you see in the church, you see around you that you can actually talk to, that can advise you in the way of God. When you open up, then you will have that opportunity, you will have that ideas, you have that guidance, because the Bible says in the multitudes of counsel there is safety, but where there is no counseling, the people perish. So I pray for you that you will not perish. That is where we are going to be stopping today on the show. I hope you enjoy it. God bless you. Bye.
We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me.